Hey guys, how are all you Huskies doing? Well, you can tell where we are. We're here at the Hawthorne garden, and Miss Shannon's got things in tip-top shape here. All these beautiful rows and flowers everywhere. So today we're gonna make a dish using the beet, and we're gonna use all the parts of the beet, like we always do. So let's find some beet greens, because most of the beets we have going here are still tiny, but we can pull off some of these greens. We can use them. So let's grab a couple different colors here. Got some yellow. We got some of these bull's blood beets, some red beet greens. And Miss Shannon said it's okay to pull some of the leaves off before we pull the beets because they're really crowded, so this will help thin them out a little bit. And plus, as long as we leave enough leaves on for them to eat, because they eat through the leaves, they'll be fine. I just want to grab a couple of these what are called bull's blood beets. And I'm gonna pull this whole beet because there's a little beet in there, and like I said, Miss Shannon said we're allowed to. It'll be tiny, but it's right next to that other guy, so it'll give that other guy room to grow. So we're gonna head into the kitchen. There we go. It's a little bull's blood beet, and you can see all the different leaves, how pretty they are. And they kind of represent the kind of beets they are. So we're gonna head into the kitchen, and we're gonna make a dish with all these beets. Good enough? Okay, Huskies, we're back in your kitchen in the good old ISS room. Miss you guys. Can't wait till we can do this together again. But I got all our beets all cleaned up here. We got our greens clean. And you'll see like I said, what's kind of cool about beets is the color of the stems and the leaves and the veins, they kind of indicate what kind of beet it's gonna be. These are called bull's blood. I'm just gonna chop them open so you can, actually here's one already chopped up. I'll show you the inside of that. You'll see it's got a really cool little bullseye, and it's a really dark red. That's how it gets its name, bull's blood, and so are the leaves. For the golden beet, it's kind of the same way. There's chop some of those leaves off. So you'll see that the veins are gold and the leaves are bright green. And then for our regular old red beets, we have real dark green and then red veins and stems. And again, all the parts of the beet are edible, so we're gonna use all of them. And we're gonna make a dish here with all the parts of the beet. Okay, we are going to make a traditional Italian dish called pesto. Pesto is a sauce or a paste, however you wanna look at it, that traditionally is made with basil. We have some basil here. Lemon, olive oil, and pine nuts, which we're gonna substitute today for sunflower seeds. Because remember, we don't like to have nuts in school because of the kids with allergies. It's very dangerous. So we're gonna use sunflower seeds. And also, we're not gonna use any cheese, but you could use Parmesan if you wanted to. So we're gonna make a super green pesto. Okay, so we're gonna make our pesto in our food processor. So I'm just gonna tell you about this guy real quick. This is a little mini food processor, but it has all the parts of a normal one. It has 4 parts: the motor or the housing, the bowl, the blade, and the lid. And everything locks into place for extra safety. So the bowl goes in and it locks. Then we place our blade into the bowl. But I just want to tell you about the blade real quick, guys. Be extra careful. Always have your parents handle the blades, because you'll see it has 4 sharp edges, 2 on each side and 2 blades. And one sits high and one sits low, so it's extra dangerous. So I want you guys to be really careful and have your parents handle the blades, okay? So our blade drops in, and then our lid locks in. And what's cool about this is all those locks, we have a bowl lock and a lid lock. All those locks, if they're not all the way tight, the machine won't even work, it won't turn on. So that's what's really nice about the locking mechanism, so it gives us extra safety. So when everything's locked in, you'll see how the machine works. Okay, so let's make our pesto. I'm gonna use, this is something to think about too. If you're gonna make pesto using beet greens or kale or whatever it is, remember that the final product is gonna be similar to the color of the greens you're using. So for this one, I want it to be kind of bright green. So I'm gonna use the golden beet leaves because they're the greenest, they're the brightest green. And we're gonna use those, and we're gonna do a whole cup of those. We're gonna do 1 cup of beet greens. So I'm just gonna chop them up. And it doesn't really matter how well you chop them up. We just wanna chop them up enough so they'll be loose in the food processor. because the food processor is obviously going to chop them a lot more than we did. So we got our beet greens in there with 1 full cup. I'm just going to stuff it down and we'll save those. That's actually a cup. That's good. So a cup of beet greens. And then we're going to do a half a cup of the basil. So this beautiful basil here. I'm just going to take the stem off, and these stems I'm going to stick in the compost. And just a nice rough chop. And then half a cup of that. So we got half a cup of basil in there. And we're gonna do some parsley too. We're gonna do a half a cup of parsley. This is curly parsley from the garden. You can use flat leaf if you want, any kind of parsley, it doesn't really matter. So, gonna get about half a cup of that. And again, I'm gonna throw the stems in with the compost. And we're just gonna get a simple rough chop, because the machine will do most of the work for us. And that should be about a half a cup. Yep, right there, perfect. Okay, and then we are going to add some garlic. I'm going to do a clove. I'm going to throw a whole clove of garlic in there and a half. And I have a half one right here. So 1.5 cloves of garlic. And get that little skin off. Come back here. There you go. Okay. Okay, and some lemon juice. So I have my juicer here. Just going to squeeze some lemon juice. And we'll do a tablespoon of that. So a tablespoon of lemon juice. We're gonna do a tablespoon of olive oil. Let's actually do a tablespoon and a half of olive oil. So 1.5. Okay, and then last but not least, our sunflower seeds instead of our pine nuts. I'm gonna do a tablespoon and a half of those too. Tablespoon and a half of sunflower seeds, then I'll give it that nutty flavor, and then a little bit of water to thin it out. So about a tablespoon of water. Pinch of salt, pepper, and we're good. Let's go. Let's get grinding. Lid's locked. Chop, grind. All they do is go in opposite directions. So I go back and forth. It helps us spread the food around. Chop goes counterclockwise, grind goes clockwise. And when all the pesto is up on the side of the bowl, I know I need to open it up and push it down with a spoon, not with my hands. Those blades are very sharp and now they're hidden. You can't even see them, so they're even more dangerous. So I'm gonna get all my ingredients pushed down to the blades and put our lid back on and keep going. Back and forth. One more time, scrape it down. And you'll see it's nice and bright green. If we'd used those bull's blood, or the red beets, it would just be a darker color. It would have a little purple in it. They all look good, but just a little bit different. There you go. There's our beet green, superfood, super green, whatever you want to call it, pesto. Okay, so let's continue our dish here. We have our pestos all done. We're just going to leave it right in our little food processor for now. And we're going to saute some of these beet greens. So I'm going to have my pan warming up. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in our pan. And I like to saute all my greens with a little bit of garlic. So I'm going to chop up a little bit of garlic here. Nice thin slices. And you can just take it and kind of spread it around. Cut it super thin. That's warming up. Just drop it right where the oil is. We can get our greens ready. And we're just going to take these beautiful greens we got. We're going to take the stems off. We're going to use those too. And grab a couple more of these greens here. And just take the stems off. Put those aside for a second. And we're just going to give these guys, a nice slice. Maybe 1/8 of an inch wide, little strips. We're going to take our greens, and looks like our oil's just about ready. We're going to throw them right in the pan. And we're going to take our stems and do that too. I got these beautiful stems. I like to call them the kind of like rainbow celery, because they come in all different beautiful colors like the beets do, and they have a little crunch. And they basically don't taste like much because they're mostly water, so they're just like celery. They're gonna take on the flavor of whatever you cook them with. In this case, the garlic and the pesto when we get it in there. So we got our greens all sauteed, a little bit of salt and pepper, and let's add some veggies to this dish too. So I have this golden beet already peeled. Just put a little bit of that guy in there. We'll just dice him up a little bit. Beautiful colors. Get the beets in there. And then I have a little bit of tomato here. Tomatoes are always good. So let's put that in the compost. Tomatoes right in there. Mix it up. Doesn't take long. We're just going to warm the tomatoes and the beets through so they're still nice and crunchy. We don't want them to be mushy. And then I have some red lentil pasta, some penne pasta here. It's made with red lentils and rice. So it's a little healthier than whole wheat pasta. And it's gluten-free for people who can't have gluten. And also it's really cool color because it's made from red lentils. So I'm going to put some of that in there. Get some of the penne in there. I'm just going to mix it all around. Warm it all up. And then we're going to get our pesto in. We're going to get a nice big tablespoon of pesto. A heaping tablespoon of pesto. I'll just throw it right in there. Look at that. See how bright green it is and how pretty it is? And we're just going to make sure everything gets coated with that nutty, really flavorful pesto. And we're just, like I said, we're just kind of warming this dish through so everything's warmed up and evenly coated. Pesto is nice and evenly coated on the greens and the pasta. And that's really it. That's the whole dish. Okay, let's plate this beautiful pesto pasta. Penne pasta with superfood pesto with all our beautiful ingredients. Make sure we get all of our veggies in there. And you'll see it's just as delicious as it looks. If you wanted to, we can make a little garnish on there. You guys remember our garnishes? Take a little bit of these beets, they're so pretty. Put a couple beets on top like that. There we go. Beet green pesto with sauteed beet greens with penne pasta. Okay guys, grab your Grow Cook journals, and what I want you to do is, here's our beautiful dish again. I want you to tell us what ingredients you would like to add to this to make it your own. Let us know. See you soon.